Now I'm ready to begin the second part of the garter stitch short row heel. I have my 14 wrap stitches on each side of my 5 center unwrap stitches. So I need to reset my counter because we are going to begin by, the first thing we do is knit these 5 unworked stitches and then knit the first wrap. So that's 5 center stitches plus the next one would be obviously number 6. So I'm going to reset my counter so it shows the number 6. And in this step, if you're using a counter with me, I'm going to click my counter after every turn, as opposed to the first part where we just did it after we created a pair. So my counter says 6. If you are using a different count, you will just use the number of center unworked stitches plus 1. So I'm beginning on the right side row. I'm going to knit 6. And the 6th stitch is my first wrap. And then all I need to do for my next step is to wrap this stitch. We knit to the first wrap, knit it, and then wrap the next stitch. So we will be double wrapping this stitch. So we slip as if to purl, bring our working yarn to the front, slip the stitch back to the left hand needle, and turn. Difference is this time, click. So now it says 7. So we will go ahead and knit 7. And here is number 7. That is the first wrap stitch. We knit to it, knit the wrap stitch, and then we're going to wrap the next stitch. We're wrapping as we did before, slip as if to purl, working yarn in front, slip the stitch back to the left hand needle, and turn. Now I will give my clicker another click, and we're going to continue in this fashion by knitting across, knitting the wrap, wrapping the second one. And you will continue to do this until we have 1 wrap stitch at each end. I am on the last row of the heel. I have 1 wrapped stitch on each end of the heel, and my counter is showing 1 less than my original stitch count. So I'm making the heel over 33 stitches, so I still have 33 stitches, but this counter is showing 1 less than that the heel count. So if you're doing 36, then your last row should show your counter at 35, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and knit all the way 32 stitches until I get to this last stitch. Here I am at the last stitch on the heel. I've knit to that, and it's at the last wrap and the last stitch. I'm going to go ahead and knit that. And now it is time to rejoin the instep stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and rearrange my needles here. And before I start knitting these instep stitches, I need to pick up 2 stitches in the area or the gap between the heel stitches and the instep stitches. Now you may be knitting in a different design than I am on this demo, but as long as you pick up 2 stitches in this area, you'll be just fine. I like to pick up the leg of that one, the leg of this one, and it doesn't really matter, but just go ahead and put those 2 stitches that I just picked up onto my left hand needle, and then I'm going to take these 2 picked up stitches and I'm going to knit them together with the first stitch. Let's see if I can separate them there for you. So we're going to do a knit 3 together, knitting that first instep stitch with those 2 stitches that I picked up. And when I knit those 3 together, I have closed up the gap. And now I can go ahead and knit my instep in pattern. I will just knit all here for a minute until I get to the heel stitches again. I have finished knitting across the instep in pattern, and now it's time to join the heel stitches, and I have my last remaining wrap here, but I need to pick up 2 stitches in this gap area before I go ahead and knit that last wrap. So I'll pick up 1 stitch, 2 stitches, and then I'm going to go ahead and take these stitches, put them on the left hand needle, and I will knit those 2 together with that last remaining heel stitch or wrap stitch, and just do a knit 3 together. You give that a nice little tug there. It should close that up very nicely for you. And then you just continue knitting or going in pattern. So you can see we have a lovely, nice design here for our garter stitch short row heel. Very cushy, very durable. Happy knitting!